Until recently, working with sets in JavaScript and TypeScript was quite hard. We often had to convert them into arrays to properly work with them, and when we were done, we had to convert them back into sets again. But with ES2025, we will finally get access to many new functions which will make working with sets much easier. In this video, we will talk about all these new functions and we will see the advantages of using them instead of doing everything manually. Let's get started. So we can see here we have two different sets. Set A is a set of string and numbers, and set B is a set which only contains strings. Now let's say, for example, we want to figure out what kind of elements are in set A and also in set B. So we want to have like an intersection. How would we have done this prior to these new set functions? Well, we would first have created a new variable, and let's call this variable intersection, and then we would loop over our set keys and would then figure out what kind of elements are also in set B. But sets were not that easy to work with until recently. So let's see what kind of properties we can use. And as you can see, we are quite restricted. We have some which sound interesting. So for example, we have the entries here, the keys and the values, but all of them, entries, keys and values, are only so-called iterators. So this means we cannot call like filter on it. So we need to convert this iterator into an array first. So let's use keys here. And now when we hover over this, we can see here, as mentioned, this is a so-called iterator. Here it is a set iterator of string and number. Now when we take a look what we can access on this is just a normal iterator. We cannot use filter or map or something like this. So what we need to do first is convert this to an array. We could call, for example, array from, or we could use the spread operator. So I will use array.from and we'll pass our a.keys. So I say array.from and I pass our a.keys function to it. And now we can use filter on it. So I call filter and I will check for each of the elements if the element is also in B. So I say a b.has and I check for a in there. But you can already see an issue, right? Because TypeScript is complaining here. Because when we hover over this, we can see that the argument of type string number is not assignable to parameter of type string. And this is completely understandable because here we have a set which is a set of strings and numbers, but set B is only a set of strings. And because of that, this has here is not working because has only takes a value of type string, but this could be a value of type string and number. I will make this really easy. In this case, I will just say as any. Of course, don't do this in your code, do a proper casting, but I think you can see the issue, right? Because first we need to convert our set into an array and then we would have to do the filtering ourselves. And we have another issue. This intersection here is now no longer a set. This is now an array. So it has none of the advantages of a set. You can now add anything you want to it. And to solve this, we would need to convert this back into a set again. So we need to say new set and wrap our array into it. And now, as you can see, we get back a set. But we still have an issue. As you can see here, this is a set of string and numbers because TypeScript does not know that now there can only be strings in there. Because let's think about this. We have a set A and a set B, but set B only contains strings. So this resulting new set can only be a set of strings. But here we now have a set which could contain strings or numbers according to TypeScript. So I think you can see what's the issue with the manual approach, right? And this is why I really love these new functions which were added to the set class. Let's go into our tsconfig file here and let's change our ES24 to ESNext here. And we also change our target to ESNext. Now let's save this here and let's go back into our set.ts file. So let's remove this and let's now see what kind of functions we have available. So we can see there are many more than before. So the first thing we can see is we have a function which is called the same as our variable here, intersection. So let's just use this here. It takes an object which is read-only set-like. And I will come back into it why it is not a set but a read-only set-like type. But before we go into this, let's first see how this works with a normal set. So we just pass the set B to it and we can see this compiles just fine. So before we see the result of this call, let's first see what the type of our intersection variable now is. So let's see how this looks like. And you can see here, this is now a set of strings. This is no longer a set of string and numbers because TypeScript can figure out that this result of this A and B intersection can only be of type string. So it makes our code much more type safe. But let me show you what the result for this is. Let's call print here with our intersection and we just print what's in there. And you can see here we get back hello because we get everything which is in set A but also in set B. But of course, this is not the only function available. We have many more which we can use. So the next thing we could do is we can use difference. So we can check what's in A but not in B. So we say a.difference and we pass our B to it. When we now check the results and we change this from intersection to difference, we will see that we only get the elements which are only in A but not also in B. So we can see we only get back 1, 2, 3, and the other stuff which is either only in set B or is also in both sets will not be added to this new set. So also a really cool thing if you want to figure out what is only in the first set here but not also in the second one. But of course there is also a function which we can use to figure out what is only in A and in B but not in both. So for this we can use the symmetric difference function. So let's create a new variable here and let's call this symmetric. And now we call symmetric difference on our set. And then we pass our second set to it. And let's now see what the result from this is. So we pass our symmetric to our print function and we can see here we get 1, 2, 3 and by. So we get everything which is in set A and in set B without the intersection part. So without the elements which are in A and in B. Now sometimes you also want to create a new set from two other sets. And you can also do this really easy by using union. So let's create a new variable here. Let's call this union and we can say a.union and B. And as the name implies, it creates a new set from these two sets. So we can see here when we now print it, we get back everything which is in A but also in B. But of course no duplicates because this is how sets work. They don't have duplicate entries in it. Now for this function, let's think how you would have done this earlier. You would have said we create a new array, for example. We spread everything from A keys in there, and you would also spread everything from B dot keys in there. But what we have here now is, again, an array. So what you would have done is you would have created a new set again and wrapped your array, and then this would have removed all the duplicated elements. So I hope you can see how much nicer this is by having these new functions, because now we just say a.union and we pass our B in here and everything is done for us. Now these are all the functions which we can use to create new sets from it. But there are also some other functions which just return true or false, which tell us something about our existing sets without creating a new one. So the first one is isDisjointFrom. And this is useful if you want to figure out if two sets are completely disjoint, if they have no elements in common. So we can have here a disjoint variable and we say a.isDisjointFrom B. And this will only return true if there are no elements in common. So for example, when I remove hello up here and I now print this, we will see that we get back true because there are no common elements in A and B. As soon as I add hello back in there and I run the code again, we can see that we get back false because we have elements in common here. Now the last two functions which are also available are isSuperset or isSubset. So let's say we have superset here and we call a.isSupersetOf B. This will return true if everything which is in B is also in A. So in our case here, this would return false because the string by is not in the set A. But if I add this in here and I say, for example, by up here, and I print this by using print superset here, we can see that this now returns true. As soon as I remove this by here and I run this again, we can see that we get back false. And exactly the same is with isSubsetOf. So we can say subset and we say a.isSubsetOf B, and this would only return true if everything which is in B is also in A. So maybe these functions here are not as often used as the other ones, but in my opinion, especially intersection and union are really cool functions which I use quite often. So before we end, let's just hover again once over this intersection function here. And at the start of the video, I was talking about that this argument here does not need to be a set and that it only needs to be a set-like object. Now, what is a set-like object? A set-like object needs to have two functions and one property. The one property it needs to have is the size property. And the two functions are has and keys. Now, every object which has this property and these two functions can be passed as an argument to these functions. Now, how is this useful? Now, for example, maps are also set-like objects. So let's say we have a variable m here and this is a new map, and in there we have one entry and the key of this entry is 1 and the value is, for example, my name. Now what we can do with this map is we can pass it as an argument here. We can pass it, for example, instead of b here we pass m, and we can see we don't get an error. And also another thing which is really cool is we can see now the result here is a set of number, because the map here only has one key which is a number, and when we do an intersection of our set here which has numbers and keys, and of our map, which only has numbers, of course, the resulting intersection can only be a number. And when we now print our intersection here, we will see that we get back 1, because this is the key which is in our A set and also in our map. So I hope you can see the advantage of these functions not taking sets but set-like objects, because this allows us to use them much more versatile. We can pass anything into this function as an argument, which is a set-like object, being it maps or our own objects which have these two functions and the property. We have many more possibilities to use these functions. So to wrap this up, I really have to say again that I love that they added these functions to the language, because this way we don't have to do the heavy lifting ourselves again. We don't have to convert the sets to arrays and then do the filtering and then convert them back to sets ourselves. We also don't have to care about doing this in a performant way, because from now on we can rely on JavaScript to do this for us. So thank you for watching the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about these new set functions, and also let me know in the comments what kind of topic you'd like to have covered in future videos. And if you enjoyed watching it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date for the newest TypeScript stuff. See you in the next one. Bye.